And we gon' purge all these demons out. We in the end time. I see your trick. All praise to the Most High. Yahweh Ba Sima Masa Ya Yasa. Abanawa Allah. I vow to live for you. I need a fast. I'm about to make the devil really mad. I got a soul he can never have. I'm on the road on a narrow path. Messiah, my rock, falling on commands. I'ma get up when I fall like a man, like Moses did when he raised his hands. Keeping that oil in my lap is the plan. We in the end times while you playing. I know the angels watching me. Every day I'm really on my knees. Forgive me, Father, for offending thee. I want Messiah to remember me. I ain't trying to part from me. Plead the blood while some demons flee. Show the Father he all I need. I ain't trying to part from me. We in the spiritual war. Messiah is right at the door. We in the end time, yeah, for sure. It's really time to shop from source. Who gon' receive the spiritual power? I'm gon' send it down like a shower. All in that lamp, candles lit. He gon' destroy this in an hour. I told Satan, get thee behind me. I'm in that secret place, he can't find me. Sending them demons at me, get around me. Open that ocean out, but he can't drown me. Who really living and walking the world? Messiah's coming, what you ain't heard. That fire's coming, you about to burn. He's sending them prophets you don't wanna learn. I vow to live for you. I vow. Make the devil really mad. I got a soul he can never have. I'm on the road on a narrow path. Messiah, my rock, falling on commands. I'ma get up when I fall like a man, like Moses did when he raised his hands. Keeping that oil in my lap is the plan. We in the end times while you playing. I know the angels watching me. Every day I'm really on my knees. Forgive me, Father, for offending thee. I want Messiah to remember me. I ain't trying to depart from me. Plead the blood while some demons flee. Show the Father he all I need. I ain't trying to depart from me.
Beats for the street.
Saved and surrendered. I trust you when it's good. I trust you when it's bad. What I look like sitting around trying to be sad. This too shall pass. It all happens so fast. I know this pain ain't gonna last. This too shall pass. Satan getting on my nerves. Hey, literally, stop messing with my nerves. I know you heard, man, it messed up my face. Hey, but it ain't mess up my faith. Boy, as I step up to play, that's step for greatness, so I gotta be great. I lift my hands up to the Lord when I wait. You see these tears on my face. The doctor said it probably happened to stress. Nah, my father said I gave your family rest. Yes, and I ain't deaf, I heard it clear in my ear. Hey, saying, Brian, be still, just chill. See, I learned on this journey not to question you. Thy kingdom come, that will be done until I'm next to you. 2 steps ahead of me, beginning and ending. I said, prepare me for this heavenly wedding until I'm ready, look. And it was good that your servant went through affliction. You showed me how to trust you and to listen. Now listen, I trust you when it's good. I trust you when it's bad. What I look like sitting around trying to be sad. This too shall pass. Hey, it all happened so fast. I know this pain ain't gonna last, man, this too shall pass. Don't let my enemies have the last laugh. I know they love to see me crumble and crash. Man, this too shall pass. You took my sins, threw my sins in the trash. Hey, Jesus, I do all that you ask. This too shall pass. Lord, help me renew my strength. Walking, I be weary. Running, I be faint. Mount me up with wings, let me fly like the eagles fly. I need you by my side, Lord, you never leave my side. Hey, Holy Spirit, I'm adoring you. Fill me up, cause I need less of me and more of you. When Jesus walk in, the demons walk out. I learn to die daily, so I pull my cross out. Look, it costs everything for me to get this oil. You see the ones who said they love me were disloyal, man. Soften the soil of my heart and plant a seed in it. You know the secrets that you keep, yet you still keeping it. Hey, unbelievers here will never read the Bible, be everything that they need to see through testing in the trials. It was good that your servant went through affliction. You showed us how to truly trust and listen. How we listen. I trust you when it's good. I trust you when it's bad. What I look like sitting around trying to be sad. Man, this too shall pass. Said it all happened so fast. I know this pain ain't gonna last, man, this too shall pass. Don't let my enemies have the last laugh. I know they love to see me crumble and crash. Man, this too shall pass. You took my sins, threw my sins in the trash. In Jesus, I do all that you ask. This too shall pass. This too shall pass. This too shall pass.
Make it make sense. Holding on to a fence while you straddling the fence. They make it make sense. Make it make sense. Some of you were sent, some of y'all just went. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. How you buy some shoes but you can't even pay the rent? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. God can never bless a mess. He can only clean what's left. Better make it make. Man rejected me, but God selected me, and God accepted me, and God protected me. See, man's opinion belong inside the garbage bin, and sin should never have dominion in my heart again. They put in work, boy, cause if you don't, you not a man. Every church boy should grow into a godly man. Man of integrity, undeniably trustworthy. Kingdom identity, reliable and love mercy. Not greedy for gain of church contribution. You trying to pimp the church, that's spiritual prostitution. God don't play about his children. You can't treat his children evil. Hey, you can build the building, but we gon' build the people. Turn this up in your speaker and make the devil mad. I keep reaching for my Bible, you can keep the bag. I got the signal from heaven that never lags. Hey, he's all I really need and all that I really have.
Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Jesus turned water to wine. That's your reason to get bent. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. How you twist the word of God and try to say that's what he meant? Nah, make it make sense. Make it make sense. How long you been a Christian? Why your armor got no dent? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. God can never bless a mess. He can only clean what's left. Better make it make sense.
Hey, hop out in an 87 Cutlass. How you cast out devils, yet you gutless in the public. Hey, you stay where it's safe though. Take me to the ruckus. A faith that can't be tested is a faith that can't be trusted. Hey, yeah, you went to Bible school, but bet they didn't teach you this. Only Holy Spirit can show you what heaven's secret is. Hey, it's a special consecration, a private preparation, meditation, concentration. And it's a kingdom presentation, a kingdom demonstration with heavenly elevation. Hey, put yourself last and put your neighbor first. Hey, that's the way it works. Don't forget the prayer works. Another day at work, time to put your faith to work. Hey, look around the church. Some of y'all can't make the work. Most of us was thinking it, but I'm the one that say it first. Hey, it's okay to cry, sis. It's okay to hurt. Hey, I remember swimming rivers in my teardrops. Like, fear not, gotta make your tears stop. Hey, I remember every day I used to pill pop. I got so drunk I used to pass out on the hilltop. Hey, but it's different now. I no longer chase the blunt. And I'd be dumb if I let Satan play me like a trump. And blessed be the name of the Lord. I said from this time forth to forevermore. Hey,
make it make sense. Tell them make it make sense. Holding on to a fence while you straddling the fence. Hey, make it make sense. Tell them make it make sense. Some of y'all was sent, some of y'all just went. Hey, make it make sense. Make it make sense. How you buy some shoes but you can't even pay the rent? And make it make sense. Tell them make it make sense. God can never bless a mess. He can only clean what's left. Better make it make sense. And make it make sense. Jesus turned water to wine. That's your reason to get bent. Nah, make it make sense. Hey, make it make sense. How you twist the word of God and try to say that's what he meant? Man, make it make sense. Hey, make it make sense. How long you been a Christian yet your armor got no dent? Make it make sense. And make it make sense. God can never bless a mess. He can only clean what's left. Better make it make sense. Yo. Better make it make sense. Better make it make sense. Better make it make sense. God can never bless a mess. He can only clean what's left. Better make it make sense.
It's time to put the children to sleep. Grab your strong drink. It's Wild Out Wednesday. It's time to put the children to sleep. Grab your strong drink. It's Wild Out Wednesday. It's time to put the children to sleep. Grab your strong drink. It's Wild Out Wednesday.
All right, yo, shalom, shalom, shalom. Hey, Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahshua Barakatham. Shalom to the 12 tribes scattered abroad. Yo, hey, as it said, yo, it's Wild Out Wednesday, man. We're about to have a good little discussion here tonight. Hey, Boaz, how you doing, King?
Shalom, Adawan. Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahshua Barakatham, Israel. Hey, that clip was funny, though. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I like that.
It's time for Wild Out Wednesday. Go ahead, put the kids to bed and grab you some strong drink.
Hey, man, get your strong drink. You hear me? I don't got mine yet, but hey, once we finish up, hey, it's on deck.
He said it's on.
And so, Israel Shalom. We gonna go ahead. We go get into some shout outs, man. As always, hey, the water for y'all being here with us this evening. Hey, the brother Shemai is having a little bit of camera difficulties, but that's all right. We still
Con.
All right, and we got the brother Boaz here in the building. All right, and hey, shalom to you all, man. I hope the week is going good for you so far. Hope that you are enduring in this captivity, enduring with everything that's going on, and you're staying strong and built up in the spirit, man. This captivity can take a toll on you. So hopefully everybody's staying built up, staying encouraged, staying prayed up, staying fasted up. Make sure that you're fasting, right? Praying and, praying that the Most High send his son to come get us up out this foolishness, right? And so real quick, we're going to do some shout outs. Shout out everybody in the building. I want to go ahead and plug the brother Shaquat, Captain Shaquat. He's got his body butters that he does. If you're looking to make sure that your skin is moisturized, go ahead and get that body butter. It's what is it? Bodybutter.com or
Smooth like butter.
Smooth like butter, smoothlikebutter.com. Go ahead and go get you some of that smooth like butter. Make sure that you stay moisturized, right? We don't want nobody running around here with ashy fists, ashy ankles, ashy feet. Man, go ahead and get some of that smooth like butter and make sure that you are moisturized, right? And with that, let's go ahead and get into some shout outs.
Sister Joan Gilchrist, Shalom. John Allen, Shalom. Captain Aharon, Shalom. Boaz, the hardest working man in show business, Shalom.
Shalom.
Officer Knox, Shalom. Sister Ayasha, Shalom. Frost, Shalom. Soldier Kadar, Shalom. John Allen again, Shalom. Nadia, Shalom. Michelle, Shalom. World Without End, Shalom. Nazar, Shalom. Sister L, Shalom, sis. Aisha Howada, Shalom. Kazakia, Shalom. Be Like Ants, Soldier Gary, Shalom. Sky Anderson, Shalom. Captain Shaquat, Shalom.
Right, and shalom to everybody who's gonna be coming in.
AJ Richardson, Shalom.
Shalom to you all. And again, hey, the water Yahweh, right? Hey, the water Yahweh for just allowing us to, see another day, man. My brother be definitely on that on the Sabbath morning brew, giving the shout outs to Yahweh, man, just being thankful. Hey, we should be thanking the Most High every day. It's not just on the Shabbat, man. We need to thank the Most High every day that we are still here in the land of the living, still having a chance to repent, man, still having a chance to make our election sure, right? Every day. Hey, the water Yahweh for breath that's in our lungs. Hey, the water for Yahweh for being able to walk. The water Yahweh that, my brain is still functioning. The water Yahweh that I'm not a bug out and I haven't tripped out. Hey, like I did on the or like we went over in the class last week, man. How brother be in his truth and then they start falling out and start bugging out and start being on some weirdo stuff. Hey, so the water Yahweh, man, we cannot say that enough. We cannot praise the Most High enough. You can never praise the Most High enough, right? Hey, it says
let me get that precept.
Come on, bring that out. And you can never praise the Most High enough. So every day, man, is a day to praise the Most High, to thank the Most High, to worship the Most High.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 43 and verse 30. When ye glorify the Lord, exalt him as much as ye can. For even yet will he far exceed, and when ye exalt him, put forth all your strength, and be not weary, for ye can never go far enough.
Man, you can never go far enough praising the Most High, man. I mean, all that the Most High do for you, God, Lee. I mean, you can never praise the Most High enough. Never. I don't care. Even if it seems like things is bad. Hey, the water Yahweh. Hey, my car broke down. Hey, the water Yahweh. Maybe if it hadn't broke down, I would have went out and got into a wreck. The water Yahweh for everything, man. Give praises to the Most High, right? And so with that, we go dive into the lesson on today. So today, we gonna be talking about UFOs, UAPs, and in fact, Salakia, let me dial it back. I'm getting a little bit too excited. But of course, we got to talk about on this day in history. And so before we deal with today is the second. So I'm actually going to look at what happened yesterday on this day in history on August 1st, 1944, right? So we're going to look at what happened in history on this day. And can y'all see that? Is my screen sharing?
Yeah, it is now.
Okay, Con. All right. So on this day in history, August 1st, 1944, you see white transit workers protested black workers' promotions in Philly, in the city of brotherly love, right? The crackers was mad because, hey, the blacks was being able to get, promoted, man, and become drivers. So, somebody, if you can go ahead and bring out a little bit of this article for me.
Okay, Con. Right there. On August 1st, 1944, white employees of the Philadelphia Transit Company launched a strike to protest the company's decision to promote 8 black workers to the position of trolley driver, a job previously reserved for white men. The black men were promoted after President Franklin D. Roosevelt issued Executive Orders 8802 and 9436, which prohibited companies with government contracts from discriminating on the basis of race or religion and required companies to include a non-discrimination clause in their contracts. As the U.S. Prepared to enter World War II in the 1940s, Philadelphia quickly became one of the country's largest war production sources. As many as 600,000 workers relied on the PTC to get to their workplaces, including many factories. The strike threatened the entire city's ability to function and severely hampered critical wartime production.
All right, let's jump to right here on the strike's third day.
Okay. On the strike's third day, President Roosevelt authorized the War Department to take control of the PTC. 2 days later, 5,000 U.S. Army troops moved into Philadelphia to prevent uprising and protect PTC employees who crossed the picket line. Despite the military presence, the confrontation resulted in at least 13 acts of racial violence, including several non-fatal shootings. After more than a week, the strike ended when PTC employees, facing threats of termination, loss of draft deferments, and ineligible for unemployment benefits, chose to return to work without achieving their goal of blocking black workers' opportunity for advancement. By September of 1944, the PTC's first black trolley driver were on duty.
All right, so that was on this day in history. Well, yesterday in history, August 1st. We got a little bit of echo. All right, on August 1st, right, the crackers, they protested us being able to become drivers, right? And and the crackers, they still, protest us getting advancements. They still come against us getting better job opportunities. At the end of the day, I heard a quote like, the poorest white man is okay as long as black man is not in a better financial position than him. Right. So with that, without further ado, we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna jump into again what we're talking about today. We're talking about UFOs, UAPs, right? UFO stands for unidentified flying object, and UAP, that's something new. Who's heard of the term UAP? So there's a whole bunch going on in the news right now. And Salaki, if brothers got precepts, hey, call them things out. Let's jump into it. Of course, y'all already know how we do. Hey, in the chat, if y'all got precepts, hey, jump in, throw your precepts out, and let's get into it. Let's have the conversation. Because this big talk right now about what's going on in the news with them, declassifying, different evidence or declassifying documents and wanting to declassify documents, and the government being questioned about a lot of things. We got whistleblowers. That's right. They not got it up there. Unidentified aerial phenomenon, right? That's what they're calling it now. But still, basically, it's the same thing. It's an unidentified flying object. They just want to get a little bit more technical, sound a little bit more intelligent, right? They just can't call it unidentified flying object no more. They got to go out and call it an aerial phenomenon, right? But anyway, so that's the thing, is UFOs and UAPs. Now, let me put a real quick question out there. How many people believe in UFOs? Quick chat. I wanted to put the chat up. I wanted to put the survey up in the chat. I didn't know how to do it. Otherwise, I would have. Oh, Ayasha had called it too. My bad. Unidentified phenomenon. Right? So, unidentified aerial phenomenon. So now, who believes in unidentified flying objects? Who believes in UFOs or UAPs, as it's modernly called today? All right, and then I'm going to go another further. Who believes in the chat, right? Or what do you say that the UFOs that are seen, what do you say that they are? And do you believe a lot of people, when they come out and say that they've seen a UFO, do you believe it? Right? Okay, so I believe in IFCs. Hey, Knock, you're going to have to help me out with that one. I don't know what an IFC is. I'm not familiar with that term. What is an IFC?
Identified flying chariots.
Identified flying. Okay, identified flying chariots. All right, I like that. I like that. And that might be my sound that's messing up. Hold on. I'm going. Hey, y'all hold it down for a second. I'm going to leave the studio and come back in.
We got some people who said they believe the system believes in The sister does moving in the chair. I mean, a lot of people.
It sounds worse now.
It sounds even worse.
Yeah.
Is it me?
I don't know.
What? How about now?
Nah, sound the same.
What is? How does it sound?
It's like an echo. And then that's why I went on mute. Make sure it wasn't me.
All right. Can y'all hear me?
Con.
All right. Boaz, say something.
Is it me that's echoing?
Yeah, that's you. You got like the Darth Vader Transformer thing going on.
How about come back?
Either that or just mute the mic. All right, Con. All right, so let's see, where was that? Yeah, so the unidentified flying chariot or identified flying chariots. All right, Con. So then the question would be then, what is a chariot, man? Right? What is a chariot? And so, first of all, Hollywood has always been, depicting movies. Hollywood does a lot of things about, things that's spoken of in the Bible, and then as well as things that are not necessarily spoken of in the Bible. So, for instance, Hollywood has made a lot of movies dealing with extraterrestrial, encounters. So it's movies like E.T. in the chat. Throw in your favorite extraterrestrial movie. Put your favorite extraterrestrial movie in the chat that you've seen. All right. So Hollywood, they came up with E.T. They had the movie The War of the Worlds. They had Independence Day. Right. That's
mine right there.
Independence Day.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, Independence Day was that was a dope movie. I don't know if y'all remember that in the chat. That was actually one of my favorite Will Smith movies too. One of them. Will done been in a couple good ones. But they got Independence Day, and then if y'all are like Marvel fans, they had the Infinity Wars. And one thing real quick about the Infinity Wars, so Hollywood does always kind of like sneak different messages into their movies. Like in the Infinity Wars, you had the Thanos dude who was coming to wipe out half of the population, coming to wipe out half of the people, right? It's kind of like a end time little backdrop to that whole movie. But anyway, so Hollywood's always, oh yeah, okay, that was a good one. They Live, The Fifth Element, right? So, I mean, they've got all these different movies, but now, like in all these movies, you always got like these extraterrestrials in the movies. You got the abduction movies. Did y'all see that one movie where the dude was abducted? It was supposed to be based on a true story. Dude supposedly gets abducted. He's gone missing for like 3 days or something, and the police all believe that his friends killed him. And so they're investigating the friends, or dude was missing for like a week. And then all of a sudden he turns back up. And, the story was, all the friends told the story is that he got abducted by a spaceship. Right. And so none of the cops was believing the story. Right. And so dude turns back up. He was missing for like a week. And it was supposed to be this whole big, huge story about it. But anyhow, long story short is not that one, but Space Traders. In fact, we go get into a little bit about that. So with the movie Space Traders, what was that one about? Did anybody in the chat actually see the movie? Hey, did y'all see the movie Space Traders, boys? Shemaya? All right. So the movie Space Traders basically is all the black people gets abducted by aliens, and it's just the black people, right? And in fact, since that was brought up, yo, we finna look at that real quick because there is some truth in that, right? Because again, hey, Knox said it. The chariots. We're gonna look at what chariots are, and if these UFOs, if they existed in antiquity, right? So let's look at that. In fact, we're gonna look at this first film first. It is called Space Traders.
Salakia, mic check. Is that better?
Yeah, you good.
You sound good now. You sound good now.
Winner, chicken dinner.
All right, con. All right, so this is the movie Space Traders. And again, this is about UFOs that come to abduct only so-called black people.
Bernie, some of these people have been out here since 2 o'clock this morning, though the aliens aren't scheduled to arrive before noon. But as you can see, the crowd is getting pretty excited as America prepares for its first encounter with space since NASA went bankrupt back in 1998. It's quite a circus.
Thank you, Stryker. Of course, we will go back to Plymouth Rock the moment the aliens are sighted. In other news, the Environmental Protection Agency has added Hartford, Connecticut to its list of cities to be evacuated by year's end.
Taylor, of course, is safe and secure in an undisclosed bunker until it's determined whether or not these aliens pose any threat.
Hello? Hello? Is this on? Can you understand me? I'm the vice president.
We are space traders bearing exquisite gifts that will restore your nation to its former glory. Nearly limitless quantities of gold and precious metals that will instantly erase your deficit. Machines that will renew your rivers and your air. Cold fusion technology for a safe, cheap, and inexhaustible source of energy. All we ask in return is the delivery to our vessels. 5 days from now, every child, woman, and man in your nation with at least 2,500 milligrams of melanin in their skin per square centimeter.
What the hell is melanin?
Put more simply, in trade for solving all your most pressing domestic catastrophes, we are asking for every person in your country that you would classify as black.
All right. So the aliens came, right, and they saying that they want everybody that's black. They're coming for everybody that's black. So now, if y'all ain't seen the movie, check the movie out. It's a couple more little snippets that I want to grab from there because they do put a lot of truth in these movies, man. Right? When those UFOs do come, they only coming for one set of people. Right? They only coming for one group of individuals, not everybody. It's one specific group of individuals. Boaz, what you got?
Man, yo, I've never seen that. That blows me away. Like right? Straight up. I want to know who directed that or who made that.
Yeah, for real. Hey, you know what? In fact, hey, somebody in the chat, if y'all could, hey, just Google that real quick and see who made this movie.
Yeah, because that's deep right there. The interesting part is it's like, when was that movie made? Like early 90s?
1994.
94. Man. And it's kind of spot on. You know what I seen earlier, Adawan?
What's that?
You know how they got the movie The 10 Commandments or something, right?
Yeah.
I seen this video regarding basically it's like the Ten Commandments, but the Egyptians are black, Moses is black, everybody is of color, and the picture is black and white.
How old is that movie?
I have no idea. If I can get it, I'm gonna send it to you.
Okay, Con. All right, let me get this. I want to get this next clip up of this movie, because this thing is man, like I said, it is a lot of truth in this thing. How these people really are.
Yes, talk to me. Well, first of all, I'd just like to say I love your show,
Thank you, thank you.
I watch it every day.
No.
But my comment is this. Black people have
realize
always
my
been
husband has been
complaining
on
about how
several
bad they're
times,
treated
but he
here.
has
So I
nothing
would
to
think
say
they'd
on
just
the
be
matter
tickled
right now.
pink to get a free ride someplace else. Oh, yes.
And hey, that's exactly how these white folks be though. Hey, if you don't like it here, why don't you go back to Africa? Right? That's their sentiments. You know, if you don't like it in America, why don't you just go here? Why don't you just leave?
Go back to where you came from.
Go back to where you came from. And so she was in this movie. She like, yeah, you know, why don't they just take the free ride? You know, why don't y'all just leave? You know, it's crazy, but you know they got that saying, art imitating reality, or reality imitating art. You ever heard that phrase?
Imitating art?
Yeah, art imitating reality, or art imitating life. Is the
I heard that
phrase
before.
is something like that, art imitating life. And so what we see is art, the artistic expression, movies, right, imitating life, what people actually feel, what people actually think, you know, because white folks really believe this, you know,
Right.
art imitating life, right, Con, right? And Ayasha said, you talking about Green Pastures from 1936.
Facts.
Said,
That's what it
YouTube
gotta be.
is deleting off my channel when I upload it. Okay, I'm going to have to check that out then. Green Pastures. All right, Con. Now, we're going to jump back to this. I want to go to this next timestamp. Watch this. It's, yeah, right here.
My friends, very little is being accomplished here today. Rabbi.
They tried this once before, but I pledge to you that hundreds of thousands of Jews will not allow another final solution in this country. Not now, not ever.
You just know once we gone, you all are next.
Latest tracking polls indicate support.
All right, so you know they had to throw in there Amalek. They had to throw in the movie Amalek, and you know Amalek trying to tie themselves to us, right? But let me. I want to grab a couple more clips, and then we're gonna get some scriptures, man, and we're gonna start getting into exactly if UFOs are real, if unidentified flying objects, if they do exist, and do they exist to the extent that the media pushes out there? Do it exist to the extent that you see a lot of these white folks talking about? Because hey, I've been hearing about these things, about all these sightings since I was a kid, right? And now I don't believe that all of the so-called sightings are real. I don't believe that. You know, I don't believe. Again, I believe that a lot of the narrative that is pushed is they have agendas behind it. So one is to take away the belief from people, their belief in the Most High, right? So if you paint this narrative that it's other intelligent life form out in the world, and it's not just humans, and it's extraterrestrials, then people will start questioning, well, is there really a Most High, right? And if there is, then is the Bible really truth then? Because does the Bible talk about other worlds with extraterrestrial life forms on it? Or is there other intelligent beings out there? And then you start seeing the push where there are you know, the little scientific think tanks that try to say that this world was, for lack of better words, engineered from more superior life forms, that they came and they engineered us, right? So you see a whole bunch of theories that start to come out when you start dealing with extraterrestrial life, right? But let me get into this next clip right here, because some of these things are, let me see, where is I want to get right here.
So you really think they're going to send us away, huh?
And I told you the one about the American dream. That's what all the niggas swimming back to Africa with a Jew under each arm.
You're outrageous. But you know, Piggy, we could fight back. Like the Palestinians. Rocks and guns.
Nigga, please. Like I'm gonna get myself killed just to stay here. I just hope they got them little bottles of Remy Martin on the flight. Got to have my Remy Martin.
Oh, Remy Martin.
All right, so in that clip right there, so this dude, the Bentley dude, I believe that was Bentley. He was the butler. I think he was the butler on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, if I'm not mistaken. He was the butler in something. Maybe it was the Jeffersons. I can't remember. But anyhow, so this dude is trying to not go with the aliens. That's his whole thing, right? He don't want to go with the aliens. So he's trying to come up with or start generating different reasons why the United States should not send all of the so-called African Americans off on these spaceships, right? And so one of his things is, and the next clip, I ain't gonna get it, we just go keep it pushing. But in the next clip, he's talking with the white man, and he's like, look, man, if y'all send us away, y'all gonna be losing out on all this money, right? He talked about how much money the black community spends in the United States, how much alcohol the black community buys, right? And then you've got these CEOs, and they're talking about, yeah, you know, last year we did this much, and the consumption or the amount that we made from the black community was this. And then he starts talking about how the pork industry is going to take a hit because of how much pork the black community buys, right? So he starts going down and detailing how, hey, if you guys get rid of us, y'all gonna lose out on all this money. And it just really made me think about, yo, if we stopped spending our money with these other nations and actually spent our money amongst our own community, right, what we would do to their financial system. And that's the biggest thing, or that's one of the biggest fears that they have, is us coming together, spending our money in our own community. Out of all these other nationalities, out of all these other races, we are the only race, we are the only people that do not spend with our own community. We do not keep the money in the house. We'll be quick to go and spend money any place else. But if you got a black-owned business, we won't go there. We won't patronize it, right? And then a lot of times the excuse or the reason is, well, hey, the customer service is bad. The service is real bad. I don't like how I was treated, right? So, and granted, a lot of our people, we got to get out of that mentality like, oh, just, yeah, you black, you should spend with me, and thinking that we can have piss poor customer service. That is something that we have to work on. But what we also have to work on is spending our money with our community. Now, I got a checklist. If I don't spend with a someone who's walking in the faith, who's keeping the commandments, that's my first go-to. Are they keeping the commandments? Are they in the faith? Are they in the truth? I'm going to go to them first and spend my money with them. Now, if I can't find what I'm looking for with a person that's in the truth, then my next go-to is just someone of my people. And if it's not just someone of my people, then lastly, okay, if I got to go to another nation, then I'll go to another nation. But the whole thing is I'm trying to spend amongst my people before anything, right? And I tried to support. I spent $200 on some. Let me see. She said she spent $200 on some hair products and all came spilled out and poorly packaged. I was hot. And like I said, unfortunately, a lot of times that's the case. Or sometimes that's the case, right? But the thing is not to just divert from spending with our own people, right? The thing is, okay, well, you know what? I'm not going to do business with that individual no more. Now I'm just, I'm going to move on. I'm going to find somebody else who I am going to do business with. But don't stop spending with your people, all right? So now, all that being said, dealing with the UFOs, dealing with the what not call them, the IFCs, identified flying chariots. So what is a cloud, and or excuse me, what is a UFO? And does the Bible talk about any of this? What does the Bible have to say about unidentified flying objects? Do they exist? Should our people believe in unidentified flying objects, or believe when some of these stories come out, believe that there is some truth to them? All right. So let me get Genesis 5:24 first. Baba Kashaf. And again, in the chat, bring it out.
Genesis chapter 5 and verse 24.
Hey, there, your mic.
It's just messing up again.
Yeah.
You sounding like Voltron.
Oh my goodness.
Or Megatron.
Yeah, my camera is mic. But I got the preset though.
All right, Con. We having all kind of technical difficulties today, but we gonna still rock.
Con. It's the book of Genesis, chapter 5, verse 24. And Enoch walked with Yahweh, and he was not, for Yahweh took him.
Right. It said, and Enoch walked with the Most High. Right. So now Enoch, what? So in the chat, what does it mean when it says that he walked with the Most High, and then it says that he was not, but the Most High took him? What does that mean? Right. Hey, that's he said you sound like an alien. That's pretty appropriate for the title of what we doing. And we talking about UFOs, and you out here sounding like an alien.
I don't know. Is it working better now?
Yeah, kind of. Now you good. Now you.
I don't know what's going on, man.
All right. So Ayasha said he died per Hebrews 11. All right. So let's get that. Go to Hebrews 11. In fact, give me Hebrews 11 and 5.
Just the book of Hebrews, chapter 11 and verse 5. And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower, which the children of men builded.
That's not 11.
I'm in Genesis. That's my fault. Slakia. Hebrews, this is the book of Hebrews, chapter 11 and verse 5. By faith, Enoch was translated that he would not see death, and was not found, because Yahweh had translated him. For before his translation, he had this testimony that he pleased God.
All right, so now Sister Ayasha said that he died per Hebrews 11, but that's not what it says, right? It says that he was translated, and then it says that he did not see death. In fact, read that one more time.
Okay. It says, by faith, Enoch was translated that he should not see death, and was not found, because Yahweh had translated him. For before his translation, he had this testimony that he pleased God.
Right. So he didn't see death, right? He was translated. All right. So what does it mean when, in fact, go back to Genesis. Let's get that Genesis 11 again.
You want Genesis 11?
You mean Genesis?
I mean, Salakia, 24. Salakia, 24. No, I'm doing what Boaz did.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 5, and verse 24. And Enoch walked with Yahweh, and he was not, for Yahweh took him.
Right, so the Most High took him. So Enoch didn't see death. Right, Officer Kadar Aharon just threw up in the track. Translated Salakia equals teleportation. In fact, I want to go ahead and I want to get that in the blue letter. We're gonna bring that up. So translated equals teleportation. So Enoch didn't die. Right, he was taken up. And so now, how was he taken up though? So now the book of Genesis doesn't really get specific, doesn't really tell us how he was taken up. All right, Khan, we got it up right there.
I was just looking at that.
All right, let's get that. Let's get translated. Let's go down to translated, and then let's pull that up and see what the Greek word for that is.
It's like Methoxyzine or something. Greek. I don't know how you pronunciate that word.
Strong's G 3346. Metatithemi. Metatithemi.
All right, and when we look at the outline of biblical uses, so we got the Strong's definitions. The Strong's definitions, it says, let me blow up my screen a little bit here. So the Strong's definition, it says to translate, to carry over, to remove, to change, or to turn. All right. So then when we go down to the outline of biblical usage, it says to transpose two things, one of which is put in place of the other. Scroll down a little bit, Baba Kasha. Scroll down on that definition, the outline of biblical usage, if you could. Knock, you there? Can you hear me? All right, I don't know if he can hear me, but so translated, I like what Officer Kadar Haran said. Hey, it's teleportation. So, hey, Enoch, he was taken up again. The scripture doesn't give us too much information on how that happened. Right, but we know that he did not die and that he was taken. Right. Yeah, come on.
I got it pulled up. It says, you said you read the first one where it says to transpose two things, one from which is put in place of the other, or to transfer, right? Then it goes on to say to change, to transfer oneself, or suffer one's self to be transferred, to go or pass over, to fall away or desert from one person or thing to another. And then the definition, the Strong's definition says to transfer, i.e. literally transport, by implication, exchange, reflexively, which I don't know what that means. Reflexively, change sides, or figuratively. I'm gonna look up the word reflexively. Or if somebody finds that, drop it in the chat.
If y'all can, yeah, I think Knock fell out. In the chat, if y'all can pull up that definition real quick, or Shemaiah, if you can grab that definition. Right, so it says that he was transported. Right. So again, read that in Genesis 5:24 one more time.
All right, it's the book of Genesis, chapter 5, verse 24. And Enoch walked with Yahweh, and he was not, for Yahweh took him.
Right, so the Most High took him. He walked with the Most High, and the scripture says he walked with him for 300 years. He walked with the Most High for 300 years, right? And then after walking with the Most High took him. And then Hebrews goes a little bit further. Hebrews tells us that he did not see death, right? He did not die. He was taken, right? Grab the book of 2 Kings, chapter 2.
I'm already here. I was just about to say that. I'm already here. It's the book of 2 Kings, chapter 2 and verse 11.
Start at verse 1. Start at 1.
Okay. It's the book of 2 Kings, chapter 2 and verse 1. And it came to pass when the Lord would take up Elijah into heaven by a whirlwind.
All right,
Elijah
so we got it again, right? Salakia. Then we got it again. It said when the Most High would take up Elijah, right? So that's what he did with Enoch. He took Enoch, right? And now it's saying, hey, when the Most High would take up Elijah, all right, his life on earth ended, but he did not experience death, right? Khan. Right, his life on earth ended, but he did not experience death. And now we are seeing the same thing with Elijah. All right, so it's two people in the Bible, in the book, that did not see death. Right, the first one was Enoch. The second one is Elijah, and that's why if you listen to different Bible scholars will say that the two witnesses are Enoch and Elijah when they come back, or the two witnesses in Revelation 11, that those two witnesses are Elijah and Enoch, right? But so again, we see Enoch, or we see a type with Enoch, and then in 2 Kings, when dealing with Elijah, it's the same thing that's going on, but we're going to get a little bit more information, right, when dealing with Elijah. So read that again for me.
It's the book of 2 Kings, chapter 2 and verse 1. And it came to pass when the Lord would take up Elijah into heaven by a whirlwind, that Elijah went with Elisha from Gilgal.
All right, let's go ahead and jump to 11 now.
It's the book of 2 Kings, chapter 2 and verse 11. And it came to pass, as they still went on and talked, that behold, there appeared a chariot of fire and horses of fire, and parted them both asunder. And Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven.
Right, and Elijah went up by a whirlwind. Okay, so now it says that there appeared unto him. Read that one more time.
Book of 2 Kings, chapter 2 and verse 11. And it came to pass, as they went on and talked, that behold, they appeared a chariot of fire and horses of fire.
So there's a chariot of fire. Now again, so a lot of things in the scriptures is, now remember, these are men that's given a picture of what they see, and they're trying to describe it to the closest thing that they're familiar with, right? So it's a lot of imagery, right? Same thing when we look in the book of Revelations, and we get a lot of images about the things that's going to be going on. You know, we hear about dragons, and we hear about, the hornets and different things like that, right? So the Bible uses imagery. So it's describing what he sees as a chariot and horses of fire, right? Read on.
And parted them both asunder, and Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven.
All right, and Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven. So whatever it was that Elisha is seeing, he sees Elijah get taken up by this chariot, right? That he's describing as like being on fire, right? He sees Elijah get taken up by this thing, right? Read verse 12.
Verse 12. And Elisha saw it, and he cried, my father, And the chariots of Israel, and the
the what?
horsemen thereof. And the chariots of Israel.
Right? It said the chariots of Israel. Right? So now, this same chariot, in fact, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but he called it the chariot of Israel. All right. He says, "In the horsemen thereof, and he saw him no more, and he took hold of his own clothes and rent them in two pieces." So now Elisha sees Elijah get taken up by this chariot that he describes as being on fire. Right? Let me get the book of Sirach, chapter 48, verse 4.
I'm already there. The book of Sirach, chapter 48, and verse 4. O Elias, how was thou honored in thy wonders?
Hey, Boaz is doing it again.
Yeah, you probably gonna have to, man.
It was 48 and what?
Sound like that, like he been yelling into his mic.
It's 48 and what?
40,
yeah.
48 and 4.
4. Is it doing it still?
No, you good.
It's good now.
Con. This book of Sirach, chapter 48, and verse 4. O Elias, how was thou honored in thy wondrous deeds? And who made glory like unto thee? Who didst raise up a dead man from death, and his soul from the place of the dead, by the word of the Most High.
Right. So this is talking about Elijah again. This is Elijah. Go ahead and jump to verse 9.
Verse 9. Who was taken up in a whirlwind of fire and in a chariot of fiery horses.
Right. So now again, so it's just give you same thing, a descriptive account of what happened with Elijah. Did Elijah go up in a whirlwind of fire? Right? Or is this symbolizing or showing that he was taken up in some kind of spacecraft? Right? An unidentified flying object. This is what, if someone saw this today, they would be like, man, that was an unidentified flying object. They might describe it a different way. Right? We get a lot of people coming out saying, oh, I saw a UFO and it had lights. Right? It had a whole bunch of bright lights. So is it safe to assume that what they seen had a whole bunch of bright lights to it? Right? In fact, and like I said, man, brothers got any precepts, man, call them. But go to Ezekiel chapter 1. And I really just want to kind of paint a backdrop, because we're going to go into the New Testament and we're going to see the same thing happening in the New Testament.
What verse?
1 and 3.
Yeah, Ezekiel 1 and give me verse 3.
It's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 1 and verse 3. The word of the Lord came expressly unto Ezekiel the priest, the son of Buzi, in the land of the Chaldeans, by the river Chabar, and the hand of the Lord was there upon him.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud, and a fire enfolding itself, and a brightness was about it, and out of the midst thereof, as the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire.
Right. So now again, here we got the same language, a whirlwind. Right. And out of this whirlwind, read that one more time. What came out of the whirlwind?
Came out of the north a great cloud, and a fire enfolding itself, and a brightness was about it, and out of the midst thereof, as the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire.
Right. So I'm gonna actually show this picture right here real quick. Let's get that. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. Now this is just like one. This is just like a little sketch of what they do. Let's see here. All right, let me try to blow this up. View. Hey, is that showing on the screen? Oh no, it's not. It's showing the other thing. Let me switch. Salakia. Screen. There we go. Bam. So this is the one I want to get. All right. Read that for me again in Ezekiel.
It's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 1 and verse 3. The word of the Lord came expressly unto Ezekiel, the priest, the son of Buzi, in the land of the Chaldeans by the river Chedar, and the hand of the Lord was there upon him. And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud, and a fire enfolding itself, and a brightness was about it, and out of the mist thereof as the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire.
Right. So he's giving you now all these descriptive characteristics of what he sees, right? Of this cloud, right? Of this chariot. So we got to understand that when the Bible uses, the Bible is not going to come out and call nothing a UFO, or the Bible is not going to say, oh, this is an unidentified flying object, or the Bible is not going to come out and say, oh, it was a spacecraft, right? The writers had to describe what they were seeing in the best way that they could. So now if we was walking today and we seen something coming out of the sky with a bunch of bright lights, and we had never seen it before, and so what people do is they say, man, I saw a spaceship, I saw an unidentified flying object, I did not know what it was, right? But this is what they were describing. They were spacecrafts, for lack of a better word, right? I want to go to 2 Kings, actually. No, in fact, don't go there yet. Don't go there yet. Salakia. Don't go there. Go to Revelation 11 and 12.
Salakia. I was going to ask you, I wonder if you could type in on the Google search, wheel inside a wheel.
Con. Let me get that.
While you pull that up, just to go into a little bit more, that I don't want to talk about as far as Ezekiel, what he's seeing, he's giving description of it. Like I'm gonna jump down to verse 15, same chapter, Ezekiel chapter 1 and verse 15. It says, now as I beheld the living creatures, behold, one wheel upon the earth by the living creatures with his 4 faces, which we see that in Revelation, where it talks about these creatures with like 4 different faces and things like that, right? Then it says, the appearance of the wheels of their work was like unto the color of beryl, and the 4 had one likeness, and their appearance and their work was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel. Now I seen this when I read this scripture, I was like, what? It was kind of weird. But even when you look at like the spaceships that Adawan was showing, how it has like, I guess the little spot in the middle where they're supposed to be, it's supposed to be like the top or whatever like that. It's like, it's not like a wheel inside a wheel, but it looked like something inside of a wheel kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? And when you Google it, you actually get the image of the wheel inside a wheel. Just like that. And you see the light inside of it is like it's almost like fire. Oh, now I ain't never even seen them other images. That was cold. That looked like some what's the book called that brothers be talking about?
Which one?
Russian icons. That's what that image had looked like.
Okay, yeah, kind. Yeah, I was trying to blow this up bigger, but that's as big as it's gonna let me get. Right. But yeah, these are all the depictions of the visions that the prophets were seeing. And again, they described them in the best way that they could.
Right.
Right, here go one. Ezekiel's wheel within a wheel. Right, that thing looks like if you was to see that, you'd be like, yo, in fact, that looks like exactly like that other so-called alien UFO. Right, the little dome thing on the top, and then you got the circle frame going around it.
Right.
That's exactly what it looks like. Hold on. So now look at that one right there, and then keep that image in your head. In fact, I'm gonna do one better. I'm just gonna bring up a whole nother slide.
You see how they had to be extra with it. They put the wings on it and eyeballs all over it.
Right, exactly. All right, here it is right here. So let me now remember that this one right here. Now look at this next one. Right, it's going to it looks almost exactly the same. Get that up. There it is. Right, a wheel within a wheel. I mean, you can go through and look at all the different, so-called UFOs and the depictions of the UFOs that have been, given over time.
Right.
But let me get that Revelation.
It's the book of 11 and 12, right? The book of Revelation, chapter 11 and verse 12. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them.
And hold on, and they did what?
And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud.
All right, so now we got the description of the cloud again. So now these are the two witnesses, right? So when you go through the book of Revelation 11 and 12, right, the two witnesses, they're prophesying, they're killed, their dead bodies lie dead in the street for 3 days. We can go into who that's dealing with. Of course, that's another northern and the southern kingdom, right? Is their dead bodies that's lying in the street. That can be taken literally or it could be taken figuratively. I think I went over that in another class before, but for the sake of time, we're not going to deal with it right now. Just know that is the northern and the southern kingdom. So the two witnesses are taken up into a cloud, right? So what is that cloud? So again, are we talking about the little pillory things that we see floating in the skies right now? No, we're not talking about that. In fact, what is a cloud? A cloud is basically water that's done condensed in the sky, right? If all y'all that's done been in an airplane before, you've flown through clouds, right? There's nothing solid about those clouds, right? The two witnesses, they were not taken up in one of these clouds that we see formed in the sky. So getting an understanding of what that cloud is. First, let me get the book of Psalms 91 and 14. And then let me get also the book of Exodus 19 and 9. Psalms 91 and 14 and Exodus 19 and 9. And boys, I think your mic about to trip out again.
You can hear it?
Yeah, you've been going too hard in the studio.
Yeah. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 91 and verse 14. Because he has set his love upon me, therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high, because he has known my name. Keep going.
Yeah. Actually, no. You can drop that. You can drop that. Give me Exodus 19:9. In fact, you know what? Nope, drop that. Let's go ahead and let's jump to Matthew 24:30. Because I want to describe what this cloud is. I want everybody to get what this cloud is.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 24, and verse 30. And then shall appear the Son of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory.
Right? So the Son of Man is going to come in the clouds with power and great glory. Now, again, it's not talking about the clouds that we see in the sky. Again, this is poetic language that's used to depict something else. All right. So give me the book of Mark, chapter 13 and verse 26. And then actually I want to get Revelation 1 and 7.
It's the book of Mark.
Go ahead, yeah, get that Mark. Boys, grab me Revelation 1 and 7. Baba Kashaf.
It's the book of Mark, chapter 13 and verse 26. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in the clouds with great power and glory.
All right, so again, they're going to see the Son of Man coming in the clouds with great power and glory. Now, the question is, like, you got all these other nations, they're coming up with like these task forces. Before Trump got kicked out of office, you know, he was coming up with his space force, right? So these other nations, they are in fear of something, right? Are they in fear of these extraterrestrial beings that they're making you believe that's out there on another planet somewhere, this other intelligent life that's out there on another planet that's sending radio signals to the planet, right? My question is, if there is other intelligent life form out there, how come they've never showed themselves? If there's other intelligent life form, and then you got the U.S., so you got people who believe that the United States is actually hiding alien bodies or alien spacecraft. First of all, the United States military does not have the power, the capability of capturing one of these aircrafts, capturing one of the Most High's chariots. The United States does not have that power or capability. In fact, in a lot of these briefings that's been going on here lately, you've got these pilots who coming out, the whistleblowers who said, hey, they saw an unidentified flying object. Its maneuvering abilities were far superior to anything that we can do. Now, do you think that any one of the chariots of the Most High would crash land here on this planet where they can then be studying their bodies? So you got all these people who talk about Area 51, right? All these people talk about, oh yeah, Area 51, they're hiding the spacecraft. Do you really think that the Most High is one of his chariots is going to be left here damaged on Earth where Esau would be able to study it? No, that doesn't make any sense. That's not happening. That's not going on. Are they actually studying extraterrestrial bodies? No, that's not happening. That's not going on. Is there some truth in this actual sightings that they've seen them? Yes, there is some truth to that. That the Most High has revealed certain things, that they have seen some of these unidentified flying objects or chariots. This is true because the Most High is going to send, when Yahushua comes back, he's coming back in these chariots, with these chariots, right? Let me get that Revelation 1:7 again.
It's the book of Revelation, chapter 1 and verse 7. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, amen.
Right? So he's going to come with the clouds. When he comes back, he's coming back with these clouds. When the two witnesses get taken up, they're getting taken up in a cloud, the same way that Yahushua was taken up. Right? Give me that in the book of Acts, chapter 1 and verse 8. Yahushua was taken up this same way. He was taken up just the same way that Enoch was taken up. He was taken up the same way that Elijah was taken up. He was taken up in a chariot. And so from here on out, because I don't like the term unidentified flying object, right? I like to use what Knox said, identified flying chariot. He was taken up in a chariot.
Mm-hmm.
He was taken up in a cloud, not one of the little pillowy clouds that we see up in the sky. He was taken up in a chariot, right? Read that.
It's the book of Acts, chapter 1 and verse 8. But ye shall receive power. After that, the Holy Spirit is come upon you, and ye shall be witnesses unto me both in Jerusalem and in all Judea and in Samaria and unto the uttermost parts of the earth.
Come on.
Verse 9. And when he had spoken these things while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight.
So after he said everything that he said to the disciples, it says that he was taken up, right? The same way that Elijah was taken up, right? The same way that Enoch was taken up, right? Yahushua was taken up this same way in the cloud, right? Read on.
Verse 10. And while they looked steadfastly towards heaven as he went up, behold, two men stood by them in white apparel, which also said, Ye men of Galilee, why stand ye gazing up into heaven? This same Yahushua, which is
now,
taken up.
Salaki, can you hear me?
Con.
Can you?
You was frozen a little bit, but I can hear you.
Okay, Con. All right, so now you got the disciples, they staring, looking up into the sky, right? They're gazing up because Yahushua was just taken up. And so now you got these two men, they're like, hey, why y'all standing, gazing up, looking into the sky? Hey, the same way that y'all see him leave, he's coming back the exact same way, right? And that, give me that in Revelation 1 and 7 again, real quick.
It says, behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, amen.
Right? So he's coming back in the cloud. In the same way that he left, that's the same way that he's coming back. And it said, every eye is going to see him. And so that's why you got these nations that's trying to come up with these space forces, right? To combat what they know is coming. They know it's coming, right? But we know that it don't matter what kind of space force that you try to come up with, there's nothing that you can do that is going to stop this. And so people that sit up here talking about, oh, Area 51, and they're trying to crash or go sneak into Area 51 and see what they got. Do you really think the government would let you even know if they did have something like that? Do you think that they will let that secret out? That's where they're holding it? I mean, all it takes is just a little bit of, I don't want to say common sense, but common sense. Even though we know that common sense ain't that common. Right? Now, I'm going to share this here with you. That word cloud that we see in the book of Acts. Right? Because this word that's used here is the same word that we see in the book of Exodus.
Salakia.
Come on.
I think I got a scripture. Let me see. Chambers. This is the book of Psalms. chapter 104 and verse 3, it says, who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariot, who walketh upon the wings of the wind. It's just like how it talked about in Exodus, you know what I'm saying? That when they left out of Egypt and everything, and they was like the cloud was going with them.
Right.
Like it's a chariot, man.
Right. Right. It's a chariot. It's not one of these clouds that's just moving across the sky and flying with them. No, this was a chariot. And in fact, so like I said, I pulled up, and I'm glad you just said that about Egypt, right? Because here it is, a cloud. This is the definition of what a cloud is. It says, outline the biblical usage. A cloud, use of the cloud which led the Israelites in the wilderness, right? So it was a chariot that was leading the Israelites into the wilderness, right? It's a chariot that took the Son of Man, Yahushua, that took the Mashiach, took him up into the sky. It's going to be a chariot that he comes back on, that he's going to have chariots with him, right? When he comes back, they're coming back in chariots. When we leave, we are leaving in chariots. And this goes back to Boaz, what you had sent me on that TikTok. My old boy was talking about the song. Our people back in slavery times, what's the song that they used to sing? That swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home. Right? I can't sing. Don't y'all laugh at me, but it's all good. Right? So they knew what it was. Right? The chariots that was coming to take them home. Right? These aren't spacecrafts with little green men in them, right? With the big googly eyes. These are the chariots of the Most High, right? In fact, grab that in Exodus, right? And let's go to the chariot that followed the Israelites.
Salakia.
Come on.
I got a precept real quick while Ishmael, you grabbing that Exodus?
Yeah, Exodus what?
Let me get the Exodus. I think it's 20 or 19. Hold on. I think it's Exodus 19 and 9.
I'm gonna bring this out now. This a precept to go with that Psalms 104 and 3. This is Book of Jeremiah, chapter 4, verse 13. It says, "Behold, he shall come up as clouds, and his chariots shall be as a whirlwind. His horses are swifter than eagles. Woe unto us, for we are spoiled."
Right? He says chariots is gonna be as a whirlwind. Ain't that what it says took up Elijah? Right, go ahead, but break it down though.
Okay. So like when the time comes, like these are the type of, like Esau think he doing something. You heard Donald Trump talk about they trying to make a space force. This is why they trying to do the certain things that they doing, because they know what time it is. They know what we don't know. While we too busy TikToking, twerking, talking about the alphabet community, talking about certain things with rights and if everybody can have equal rights and all kinds of stuff like that, they getting prepared for a battle that they know they cannot win. So they gotta destroy us another type of way. They gotta put us in a position to destroy us a different type of way, because they know when the Most High come, he coming for us, man.
That's right.
Hey, boy, go out and come back in again.
Okay.
Let's get that
All right.
Exodus.
I got the book of Exodus, chapter 19 and verse 9. And the Lord said unto Moses, Lo, I come unto thee in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with thee, and believe thee forever. And Moses told the words of the people unto the Lord.
Right? So it said, hey, the Most High came in a cloud. Now, we know that it ain't the Most High, but it's his representatives, right? It's the angels that's coming in the name of the Most High, right? But he came in a cloud, and it's again, man. We can hit on the precepts, right, all day, but it's people out there that really believe like, oh, it's talking about the clouds in the sky, but that's not what it's talking about. That's not what it's dealing with. All right, go to Exodus 24 and 15.
The book of Exodus, chapter 24 and verse 15. And Moses went up into the mount, and a cloud covered the mount.
Right, the cloud covered the mount. So now you got this chariot that's done come over the mountain. Right, this chariot is done come over the mountain. It's covering the mountain. Can you imagine seeing a chariot that big where it's taking up the whole mountain?
Yeah.
It's covering up the whole mountain. Now, I mean, you can get a little bit of an understanding of why the Israelites were so scared down there at the bottom. They just come out of Egypt, and you see this giant flying object come and hover over the mountain. Right? Read on.
Verse 16. And the glory of the Lord abode upon Mount Sinai, and the cloud covered it 6 days. And the seventh day he called unto Moses out of the midst of the cloud.
Right. So this chariot sat there over the mountain for how many days?
6 days.
For 6 days. This chariot was sitting there over the mountain for 6 days. Now, this is the same thing that took up Elijah, Enoch, Yahushua. This is the same thing that took them up, right? This chariot with that came like a flame of fire. In fact, let me get 2 Kings. 2 Kings 6 to 17. And this just goes to the point also. It's like, when Esau tries to say, oh, I seen the chariot, or I seen the UFO, and man, if Esau really saw one of the Most High's chariot, Esau wouldn't be just calm and cool collectively talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Read that.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 6, or Slacky. This is 2 Kings, chapter 6, and verse 17. And Elias prayed and said, Lord, I pray thee, open his eyes, and he may see. And the Lord opened the eyes of the young man, and he saw, and behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire round about Elijah.
Right. Hey, so what's crazy is they're here, but we can't see them.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes people will say, oh, I saw it and then it wasn't there. Right? Hey, so Elisha is praying that, in fact, when we get the context of it, in fact, jump up 2 verses.
Verse 15. And when the servant of the man of Yahweh was risen early and gone forth, behold, an host compassed the city with both horses and chariots. And his servant said unto him, Alas, my master, how shall we do? And he answered, Fear not, for they that be with us are more than they that be with them.
Right.
And Elijah prayed and said, Lord, I pray thee, open his eyes that he may see. And the Lord opened the eyes of the young man, and he saw, and behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire round about Elijah.
Hey, these are those chariots, man. The same chariots that the prophets were seeing, the same chariots that was taking the prophets up. These are those chariots. These are the chariots that's going to come and destroy Babylon. When Yahushua come back, or excuse me, Salakia, not the ones that's going to come and destroy Babylon. We know what's going the missiles going to hit Babylon. But when Yahushua come back, right, he's coming back with these chariots. He's coming back with these what the New Testament calls clouds. Right? Just try to imagine that all of a sudden the Most High opens up your eyes and allows you to see this. Allows you to see the UFOs, hundreds of them, just sitting there on go, ready. Man, it's Most High willing, man. I get to see that. Most High willing, I'm here, and I get to see when Yahushua comes back with these chariots, man.
God.
Shemaiah, you had something?
Nah, when you said like they just sitting waiting on go, like just waiting for the word, you know what I'm saying? Like when they get released, dog, it's gonna be terrible.
Man, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. In fact, give me Revelation 10:1.
It's the book of Revelation, chapter 10, and verse 1. And I saw another mighty angel come down from heaven, clothed with a cloud, and a rainbow was upon his head, and his face was as it were the sun, and his feet as pillars of fire.
Come on.
And he had in his hand a little book open, and he set his right foot upon the sea, and his left foot on the earth, and cried with a loud voice, as when a lion roared. And when he had cried, 7 thunders uttered their voices. And when the 7 thunders...
Go back to verse 1 real quick. My bad, Salakia.
Done. Book of Revelation, chapter 10, and verse 1. And I saw another mighty angel come down from heaven, clothed with a cloud, and a rainbow was upon his head, and his face was as it were the sun, and his feet as pillars of fire.
Right, so this is how they come in and this is how they go out. Right, they come in on the chariots. You know, we can't go into enough about these unidentified flying objects. They're not flown by little green men. They're not flown by what Esau calls ETs. Right, they're not flown by something that Esau thinks that he can fight up against. There's no fighting what's coming. There's no standing up against what's coming. Right? That's why Yahushua says what he says. Hey, in fact, give me Isaiah 66 and 15. And then I want Habakkuk 3 and 8. Isaiah 66 and 15. Hey, when these clouds come back, when these chariots come back, it's a wrap. It's done. It's over. I don't care about your aircraft. I don't care about your nuclear missiles. I don't care about none of that. It's nothing that they're going to be able to do against Yahushua when he comes. Give me that. Isaiah 66 and 15.
Salakia, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 66 and verse 15. For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire.
Right, and that's when Yahushua come back. He's coming back in these chariots, right, to render his anger. He's coming back in these unidentified flying objects or identified flying chariots, right? It's not UFOs. So all these little briefings that they're holding now, that the whistleblowers are coming out. In fact, I got a video that I do want to show real quick, and then we go get ready to shut it down. Unless brothers got some more precepts.
It's like, I got a precept.
All right, Con.
Just to add on that what you brought out in Isaiah in the book of Nahum. This is 84. This is the book of Nahum, chapter 2 and verse 4. It says, the chariots shall rage in the streets. They shall jostle one against another in the broad ways. They shall seem like torches. They shall run like the lightnings. And if you've seen videos of people be showing stuff with like the chariots, the way they be moving, even the jets that see them, they be moving so fast they can't keep up with them.
Right.
They on a whole nother level that they ain't ready for. That's why, when Trump came with that Space Force stuff, it's like, bro, you don't know who you messing with for real.
It ain't nothing that you gonna be able to do. And going to that point is like, stop believing all these idiots that do say, oh, I saw a UFO. Right? Because a lot of people aren't really seeing a chariot. They're not really seeing it. But again, Esau is really crafty in what they do or what he does. Esau is really crafty. And this man right here, this Dr. Hugh Ross, you can actually Google him, look him up. He's a physicist, and he's done a lot of good research. Now, one thing that I never really want to do is discredit science. All right. There's nothing wrong with science. Okay, science is really just the studying the things that we can actually see. Things that like, for instance, physics. Physics is a science. But through physics, I know how gravity works. I know how far an object is going to fall, or how fast an object is going to fall if I drop it. Right? I've got different formulas that you can use to figure out velocity and things such as that. So you cannot discredit science. And so a lot of his findings, and let me preface what I'm about to say is, this man is a so-called believer in the Bible. So none of the science that he's done, or none of the experimentations that he's done is ever done to discredit the Bible. Right? That's first and foremost. It's never to discredit the Bible, right? But the science that he does is to, I don't want to say explain it, but it further attests to the validity of the Bible, of the scriptures, right? But I just want to play a little bit of this guy.
So, and what I discovered was the incidence of people experiencing UFO encounters in the Soviet Union was way higher than anything I saw in Canada or the United States. And this led to us writing a book on the topic, Lights in the Sky and Little Green Men. I've been told we got 7 copies still at our book table over there. So any of you can get that, but hey, if we run out of the 7, again, it's the same thing. Just fill out that card, give us a mailing address, and we'll get that. About the identified, 99% of what people would come to me and say, I had this UFO encounter, and I got to tell you about it. 99% of them I could explain as either a natural phenomena, some kind of military exercise, or a hoax.
Right. And so that's the thing that we got to be careful of when we hear people talking about UFOs, is there is a large percent, and he goes into further detail in talking about the ones that has not been able to be explained. In fact, there's an article that you can also read. It's called, or is discussing the Project Blue Book. And Project Blue Book was a military exercise, or it was a military study done, and it was conducted by the United States Air Force, right? And it dealt with unidentified flying objects. And in Project Blue Book, they talk about the number of cases of unidentified flying objects that they received, right? And out of those number of cases, it was actually only like maybe 2% that actually still was unidentified, that they could not identify, right? But that 2%, out of the number, so like if you take 2% of 1 million, that's 200,000, right? So out of all of the cases that they got about unidentified flying objects, only 2% still remain as they don't know what the heck it was. But now when you look at that, all of the so-called sightings of these chariots are not real, and they can be explained, right? They can through different avenues, whether it be military exercises or that different things that the military is trying to come up with. So there is a lot of things that they don't tell us, that they'll let us run off with the stories and believe, right? But that being said, there are some that actually do see a chariot and have witnessed a chariot and that they have no explanation about, that do things that no aircraft can do, like Boaz, like you was just talking about, like how they can just take off from a dead stop, right? What would you gonna say?
Salakia, I figured it out. I've been looking for this scripture for probably like the last half hour, but it was talking about the direction that the how the chariots move.
Mm-hmm.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 1 and verse 17. It says, when they went upon their four sides, and they turned not when they went. Like how an aircraft, when it's flying, it does the I forgot what it's called when it goes up. But you know, it curves up, and then when it turns, it does like this to turn and everything like that. The way the chariot moves, it's like doing this, but really fast. So it's quick, or it can go left or right. You know what I'm saying? Like it don't turn.
Right, exactly. Their movements defy physics. Right. And so that's the thing that gets me, is like, why does Esau feel like, oh, this is something that they can combat when everything that the chariots do defy physics? All right, I'm going to play this last clip. And then
Mark Clark is a national securities expert. He was with the Reagan administration, and he's now the chairman of the Department of National Security. Mark Clark is a national securities expert. He was with the Reagan administration, and he's now the chairman of the Department of National Security Studies at the University of California, San Diego State, or San Bernardino State. And the reason why we had him write a couple of chapters in our book is to dispel this idea that the governments of the world are covering up the physical data of UFOs. And he basically makes the point, national security in the United States is not up to the task. The idea that our government has covered up the bodily remains of UFO beings and their spaceship in some secret place outside of Roswell, New Mexico, is that, well, here's the evidence. We had a US president with all the power of the presidency behind him, and he tried to cover up an 11-minute segment of an audio cassette tape. How many days was he able to keep that covered up from the public? And it was only a few days. So the idea that our U.S.
Right, and so the point is that he was making is that they're not going to be able to keep nothing a secret. If there was actual proof, if the government had proof of or actually had a spacecraft, right, that it would not be a secret. It would be known. They wouldn't be able to hide that or cover that up.
That basically tells us whatever's behind the UFO phenomena, they're not physical beings like us. It's something else. But the real evidence, and this incidentally...
All right, and so that's what I wanted to get right there. It said that they're not like us. Whatever these UFOs are, which are the chariots of the Most High, is nothing like us. It's no kind of technology that we have that man can come up with that can rival any one of the chariots. All right. And so that's what the UFOs are. They are the chariots. They are not what Esau paints them out to be. You got something? Oh, okay. Come. All right. So with that, yo, I wanted to do one last thing before we shut it down. But you know, and Salakia, if I was kind of all over the place this evening when talking about the UFOs, man, or I get a little bit frustrated when dealing with people and talking about the UFOs, and so sometimes I get on my little tangents. But Salakia, but with that, I do want to introduce a new segment that we are going to be doing also on Wild Wednesdays. All right, if y'all ever watch the Breakfast Club, y'all watch the Breakfast Club. With Charlemagne, what Charlemagne do?
Yeah, Charlemagne DJ Envy.
Right. So they got that one segment. Dunk
today.
Right. Hey, we gonna have the ass of the week.
God.
All right. Donkey. All right. So stop that. All right. So we gonna have the ass of the week, and so this week's ass of the week. Donkey. All right. This week's ass of the week is going to be this man right here. Y'all may have heard of him. His name is Kenneth Copeland. All right. He actually got called out one time by a news investigator about a jet that he had. And the news investigator was asking him, why did he need a jet? And he said, because he can't be on a plane with a bunch of demons. All right. So this is the ass of the week. Kenneth Copeland.
You a chance to raise your income. Praise God. You missed a place to shout right there that you need to get used to this now. Amen. Glory to God. Of course, all of our offerings will go toward the outreaches of Kenneth Copeland Ministries and especially Kenneth Copeland Ministries Canada, and it is and the territories under which the Canadian office is Shigama. Tevrema på bröder to cinemahan tetke. En und genyandos dog sisika pukula namen bremenesto. Stelogla hamalana lelo lendile.
Hey, that man said Muhammad Lama. He said Muhammad Lama. Hey, what kind of speaking in tongues is that?
Bahama Mama.
Hey, but you know what? His congregation, probably really feel like that man is speaking in tongues.
Yeah.
But I'm a mama.
The movement of the Spirit of God that has been prayed over, called down, cried over, died over.
All right, that's it. So that's the ass of the week, man. Hey, Mr. Muhammad Lama, Pajama Mama. Hey, they come up. He said Pajama Mama, Baby Mama, and Joanna Fonta, right? Enchiladas, all that, man. So that's the ass of the week. Donkey. Right. Right, that's the ass of the week. Hey, and so with that, man, hey, the water again for y'all, hey, tuning in with us tonight. So hey, like I said, the new segment, hey, we're gonna have an ass of the week every week. We're gonna talk about it. Sometimes it's gonna be a little bit more in depth. We're gonna be able to go into and talk about it. But that is the new segment, Ass of the Week. Again, Tawada for joining us on Wild Out Wednesday. Boaz, Shemaiah, y'all got something?
I might, as long as my mic is good.
Yeah, we can hear you. Oh yeah, Octaves. Yeah, we go get on the speaking intent. We'll probably talk more about that next week. But it's kind of late. I've been babbling already for almost 2 hours, so we'll probably talk more about it next week. What you got, Boaz?
I was gonna get that Daniel 7:18. Unless Shemaiah, you got something before that?
No, I was going to the same thing.
Okay, you got it.
It's the book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 18. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever.
Comic-Con. And with that, hey, Tawada again, y'all, and enjoy the rest of y'all night, man. I hope y'all had y'all strong drink. Maybe next time I ain't gonna do that.
Yeah, I'm about to get mine.
I'll wait till afterwards. Hey, but with that, hey, we're anointing the house of the saints. Shalom.
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 This is not a test.
Black skin, black sauce, black Jesus, black music, black skin, black sauce, black Jesus, black music, black skin, black sauce.